It's time for some carbon-based gaming.
That light flashed somewhere over there. Might be some native civilization. We might find intelligent life. How exciting!
You cannot tell what it is yet. It is too far away and the path leading you there might be dangerous. Yet my sensors read that your heart rate is increasing from excitement.
Stuff like this is why I'm here, Core. Discovering things, even if it is just natural resources. I just wish I could have explored without an emergency. Okay, Core, has the signal changed at all?
Negative. It is unchanged and still active at the same strength and same relative distance.
I can't see the light anymore. Oh well. Whatever it is, the signal might be useful. Maybe I can repurpose it. Can you fly ahead and scan the ground to tell me where I can walk?
Confirmed.
So far, so good.
You made it look quite easy.
Thanks. That wasn't my first climbing session. But as I thought, I won't be able to get back to the ship's wreckage.
It would be logical to not waste time and instead look ahead, as long as the signal is active.
Somehow I've got the feeling we're going to ask ourselves where ahead even is. I hope ahead doesn't mean through the undergrowth and straight into some animal's mouth.
My sensors would register any animal with Tessa-sized mouths.
How reassuring.
This is a dense network of individual plant fibers that extend underground for many kilometers. They are all part of the same species and leave no room for others. The signal is coming from this direction.
There's a swarm of insects here. They look like oversized mosquitoes, sucking on the plant and glowing. So they're the ones causing these strange lights in the swamp. Seems to be some form of bioluminescence.
These are the small life forms that I registered.
They're as big as rats.
The signal is coming from this direction.
A swarm of insects happily feasting on a plant. They look like blown-up mosquitoes and are glowing green and yellow. I think they're ignoring me.
You'd better not get that close. The signal is coming from this direction.
These remind me more of corals than of plants. They're even moving slightly, but apart from that, they seem uninteresting.
Corals on Earth are more akin to animals than to plants.
Tony would have been delighted to try and find out what exactly these things are. Incredible how dirty, brackish, green, lentic, stinking water can give life to all sorts of creatures. But we humans are disgusted by it.
This disgust prevents you from drinking it and transporting all kinds of bacteria and parasites into your organism. Tessa.
Thanks for the reminder.
The signal comes from this direction, but you will not be able to overcome the water. There's bound to be a way around it. The signal is coming from this direction.
A large bubble that formed on the swamp water. A bit disgusting, really. Oh, so they didn't like the smoke either. Now they're over there, eating and glowing. A swarm of insects happily feasting on a plant. They look like blown-up mosquitoes and are glowing green and yellow.
You'd better not get that close.
There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same. And the path seems to be just back here. We have to use the signal as a guide. No, I can't get back up there to the wreck.
The plant is in bloom and it's made these fibers soaked with an oily liquid. The signal is coming from this direction.
These remind me more of corals than of plants.
Corals on Earth are more akin to animals.
Tony would have been delighted to try and find out what exactly these things... Incredible how dirty, but we humans are disgusted by...
This disgust prevents you from drinking it and
Thanks for the reminder. An impressive flower. Long, strange fibers are hanging out of it. They're oily and sticky. Maybe to catch pollinators like a spider's web.
I will be careful.
I'll cut them off as far up as possible, but I'll leave most of them. I'm sure the plant needs them to survive. Long, thin, slightly oily fibers. A swarm of insects happily feasting on a...
In this place, they are too far away to reach. You won't reach these insects, Tessa. They don't respond to me. Maybe they see me as one of their own.
They're getting uneasy, but are staying put. Maybe the smell is agitating them. They're getting uneasy, but are staying put. Oh, so they didn't like the smoke either. Now they're over there, eating. They're getting uneasy, but are staying put. Maybe the smell is agitating them. Let's see. They're burning well, but mostly they're producing lots of smoke. They won't do me much good here on the ground. There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same. And the path seems to be just back here. We have to use this.
The signal is coming from this direction.
This just keeps getting better. Wouldn't it be nice if life was easy?
Intergalactic Mining Corporation. No progress without obstacles.
Yeah, I know the propaganda.
Do you know the slogan's origin?
I may have mild amnesia, Core, but I know that I always deliberately disregarded that information.
The IMC's legendary founder, Walter Knight, derived his worldview and ethics from the video games he so thoroughly enjoyed playing. If there are no obstacles or problems in your way, then you're going in the wrong direction, is what he always said. You should be on the lookout for obstacles. Hence, no progress without obstacles.
I thought some overpriced advertising company had come up with that slogan. But it's even worse. He came up with it while wasting his time on video games. Well, I guess he wanted to appear more down-to-earth, our Mr. Knight. And that's how people actually see him. Because they bombarded us with the slogan in every commercial.
My market research data shows a correlation between the slogan's frequent repetition and the IMC's customer ratings.
How nice for the IMC. Okay, obstacles. So that means we should be heading towards those mountains over there. They count as an obstacle, right?
Correct. The signal is still about 4.1 kilometers away.
And how are we going to get down there?
Unfortunately, I have no data on how to overcome real-world obstacles. The signal is coming from this direction and is about 4.1 kilometers away. There is a 29-meter descent here with nowhere for us to climb down. The only way up appears to be this plant that has broken through the cliff over there.
Can you follow it?
The plants are too thick and their materials are too similar. My sensors cannot distinguish between the data.
A huge plant that broke through from above and grew into the lake.
There are insects sucking on it, glowing.
If it's growing upwards, it has to be somewhere on this plateau.
That is to be assumed. There are many here, but it is not clear which one it is.
A lake that this huge plant grew into. It almost extends right up to my cliff. Only about 20 or 30 meters deeper. I once spent a week on a planet with a similar view. Back then, I planned every expedition in a way that I could enjoy that view as much as possible. Now, I'd almost be happy to see the boring interior of a functioning spaceship instead, and without any surprises. But only almost. The signal came from this direction. The source must be somewhere on the lower plain behind these mountains. I'm sure I've already been close to this ledge. It's part of this plateau I'm on after all. But even if I was right above it, it's still too much of a descent. The roots here have grown to become a net-like mesh. I can't tear it away. The plant is too sturdy. I shouldn't waste much of that gas. A net-like mesh made of roots. Unlike the others, these insects are glowing red.
The insects here probably glow red due to the different coloration of the water. My sensors detect blood in the water. The reason might be behind this plant. The signal is coming from this direction.
I can see something beneath it. Oh, and it reeks. Oh, that's a dead animal. Or, well, what remains of it. Looks like it's been dead for a few days. It's got feathers. Is that a
toucan.
What? No, that's impossible. It has to be some other animal that just looks very similar. I don't know how it died, but it lost a lot of blood afterwards, which then ran down into the water. The water in this pond is very shallow, and has been colored red-brown thanks to that animal's blood. The net is too loose-knit for these insects. And even though I might be very imaginative, I can't see myself needing a bag full of alien mosquitoes. There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going to touch that thing, poke around in it, or take any part of it with me.
As an explorer, you should be more professional. Look, there's a really thin bone over there.
I am an explorer, not a pathologist. Ugh. What about the bone?
You could use it as a lockpick.
Who programmed you to have such crude ideas? That's just absurd. There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going... There is no way, and I mean no way, that I'm going to... There was nothing special on this side of the swamp. It all looked the same. And the path seems to be just back here. But we also need some kind of reference point that we can follow. The signal will only take us to the edge. I can't reach it. I can't attach them here. It's too sharp. Damn, it's too slippery to attach the fibers. I can't attach them here. Yes! Oily fibers on a stick! The fibers are sticking to the end of the heavy lever, around the hilt. Yes, that worked. Now all we need is a dark cave full of pressure plates that make arrows shoot out of the wall.
What a strange thing to wish for.
Oh, so they didn't like the smoke either. Now they're over there, eating and glowing. Ah! Yes, I can shoo them away with that. Next time, however, a little more purposefully. There was nothing special on this side of the swamp, but we also need some kind of reference point that we can follow. The signal will only take us to the end. Okay, this time more deliberate. But in which direction? A plant growing beyond the crater's edge. It's gonna be like a bridge soon. But it's too slippery to walk on, even though it's got small indentations.
A visual analysis shows that your bridge comparison is mainly unjustified. I would register it thus: mossy, slippery, unclimbable, leafy plant. And likes it moist and shady. Fertilize once a month.
A small crater filled with blue-tinged, slightly strange-looking water. Is there something glinting at the bottom of the crater?
Confirmed. There is an object consisting of various metals and salts in the middle of the crater that is shimmering blue.
Put the net in the water? I won't reach it from here. Core, couldn't you try?
I am a levitating, high-tech sphere, capable of solving the most complicated calculations in fractions of a second, and you want me to act like a common cargo robot?
You could have just said no.
Limbs are overrated.
This plant seems to be dead and dried up, even though there's water in this crater. Looks like all the other plants had the same fate. And there aren't any insects here either.
My sensors indicate that the roots of these plants have been damaged and the capillary vessels have been blocked by salt residue. The plant died of thirst.
I wonder if burning them would do anything.
What purpose would that have? They might not burn at all. That would be a waste. If they do burn, however, you might be faced with a bigger problem, even if we disregard the potentially toxic fumes.
It was just an idea. I think I was a bit of a pyromaniac as a kid. That might be useful. I might be able to grab the meteorite with this, but I can hardly see it from the edge and it's too far away.
The crater is about 1.9 meters deep. The water inside is at a level of 1.4 meters. The blue color seems to come from a reaction with the meteorite's salty elements. The signal is coming from this direction.
No, I can't extend it any further. Completely dried up.
They will not help us.
The indentations are pretty soft, and I don't have to make them any larger. That would just cause liquid to come out, making the plant more slippery. Completely dried up.
They will not help us.
I can push them in a bit, but they're still wiggling. The bolts are only a few centimeters deep inside the plant. They won't be able to carry me. I'll extinguish it again, and then remove the fibers. Right. Now they're pretty stable. Careful.
Do you think this is a good idea? Does taking this risk bring you closer to your goal?
Chill out, Core. Unusual situations require unusual measures, and what I'm gonna find in this crater is going to be quite unusual.
According to my calculations, the outcome of climbing one of these plants is lethal in 9.4% of all cases. Statistics are no joke.
I hurled my butt through space inside of a hunk of metal with controlled ionic detonations. You really think I'm scared of a bit of free climbing? This plant is sturdy, and all that's beneath it is a puddle. And I have to climb it anyways to find a way out of this swamp, because otherwise we'd die. Sometimes you have to live dangerously, Core, or you might never live at all. Don't you have a curiosity algorithm? Or some humor routines? If we're really going to starve, dry up, or get eaten by aliens, I want to at least be able to laugh.
You want me to be funny?
Yes, exactly. Oh. We'll practice. Okay then. Say something funny.
Calculating.
I'm waiting.
Joke confirmed. What did the sun say to the earth?
No, I don't want you to tell me a joke. Make fun of our situation. About the swamp, our location, about me, about yourself. Anything. I mean, you can tell me about dangers if you want, but just do it more interestingly, more excitingly, maybe even sarcastically.
I understand. So, should you fall from the plant, please scream as loudly as possible so Mark Bennett can find us. Because I can't catch you or perform first aid.
Good attempt at sarcasm, Core. Could have been worse. Let's see. All I have to do is not drop it. Got it. And now... Pretty heavy. But there it is. The blue shimmering meteorite from the crater. It's probably what caused the water to be blue.
Highly likely. It is full of blue salt crystals that slowly dissolved in the water.
Now I've got the meteorite, there's no more reason to put myself in danger. I hope all the trouble I went through with the meteorite was worth it. I'll just put it into the shallow water. It's actually coloring the water. Together with the blood, it turns it purple. Let's just hope it isn't a megalomaniac meteorite out to take over the world. Looks like they didn't like that. But, more importantly, they went purple for a second before they fled. I think the meteorite won't be any use here. I'll take it back with me.
What are you trying to do?
Unpleasant, but unavoidable.
Physical exertion to relieve stress?
That should have been worth it. Take a look. lake is turning blue. It looks like it's working. The mosquitoes turned blue for a second. But they flew away. They don't seem to like the plant's juice anymore after we tampered with it.
Humankind is famous for this behavior. A function ecosystem that humanity does not fully comprehend is altered and permanently damaged, all out of pure self-interest. All the indigenous fauna can do is flee.
If I can escape this planet by giving the indigenous fauna a bellyache, then I'll gladly be the poster child for my species' wrongdoings.
I have seen worse specimens of your species.
The meteorite is inside the lake, coloring the water blue. The insects that sucked on the plant also started glowing blue. Until they flew off in disgust, that is. It's soaking up the blue water. The insects that sucked on it glowed blue for a second and then flew away. If the plant is growing upwards, it has to be somewhere on this plateau. We have to find it in this undergrowth, and then we can follow it. Damn it! I keep coming out at the same places.
Confirmed. We must concentrate.
They went blue for a second. Did you see that?
Affirmative.
Then that must mean that this is a limb of the plant that goes down the edge towards the bottom. Does that make sense?
Affirmative. Any other plant absorbing water that has been colored by this or any other meteorite should have withered by now.
Excellent. Let's follow it. Here's the tear. That should be interesting.
You could just jump. There's a 91% chance of you slipping and falling anyway.
I'd rather be deceived by your statistic. And down. Ha! Piece of cake. Now all we have to do is stick to the signal's direction. The torch is burned out anyway.
The signal is coming from this direction. The source is about 2.9 kilometers away and has not moved.
I'll just get lost out here without a proper idea of where to go. I'll just get lost out here without a proper idea of where to go. I'll just get lost out here without a proper idea of where to go.
The signal is coming from this direction. The source is about 2.9 kilometers away and has not moved.
Okay, Core, let's go. You can nap later. We can manage the rest, too. Core? Are you okay?
The signal strength is decreasing rapidly. I will attempt to increase reception capacities to secure more precise coordinates.
It's decreasing? Then collect as much data as you can.
Completed.
Good. Then we should hurry. Okay, Core. It's getting easier. How far are we? Unbelievable.
An outpost of the IMC. Number 1124.
Looks deserted. Is this where the signal came from?
It is highly likely that the signal was transmitted from here until it stopped abruptly a few minutes ago, probably from inside the facility.
That's... that's great.
My sensors indicate a high irony content in your words.
You're right. I mean, this is just all so strange.
Strange? Should you not be feeling relieved that we found this place?
I am, but we should be careful. We don't know what's waiting for us. Can you see a way inside?
There's a large gate there, Tessa.
Thanks for the subtle hint. I doubt there'll be a red carpet reception for me if I ring the doorbell, but it's worth a try. Lots of pieces of scrap that are caught up on each other, as if they were one solid piece. I don't know why I should do anything with it. This pole is pretty beat up and loose. It's only hanging onto a single bolt that's sticking out. The bolt it's stuck on is rusted. I can't screw it out or scratch it off. It's possible to cut a bit with this welder, but I won't be able to cut open the pole, nor the thick bolt. That's just a construction to protect the station from erosion. It's not unusual for nature to reclaim abandoned buildings. The plants have grown right into these rooms. If there was someone living here, they'd have taken care of them. Unless that person had more important things to deal with. There's always something better to do. Now that's a big door.
You should knock. It looks like you're trying to knock. Would you like help?
Looks pretty overgrown and abandoned, but the station was still able to send a signal. Strange. Hello? No answer. But maybe it's for the best. After all, I don't know what might have answered. We can't open it. Climbing up won't work either, and if I fell and broke something, that would just complicate things. What does the way around this look like, Core?
Good, but you would have to walk 1.9 kilometers to circumvent the plateau, maybe more.
And statistics don't lie, yeah. But I guess we'd have the same problem there, too. It's a no-win situation.
The floor covering is made from the same material as the rest of the station. It seems to have a hole in it here. Perhaps it was originally inside a rock that is no longer where it used to be. There might be a way inside below these materials.
There has to be some way of moving this junk so we can get into the hole. There's a strap tied around it. Maybe that's what's keeping everything in place. Here's the knot in the strap, but it's too tight to untangle it by hand.
That's no use. I shouldn't waste much of that gas.
Yes! I can get it off with this. Damn, these metal pieces are too caught up on each other. It's made almost entirely of metal. I could cut through those cables, but they're not what's keeping it intact. I can insert the pole, but can't push it any more to the left because it's touching the rock. That might work. Good, it's tilting to the other side, but I can't get it any further away from the hole. The left side is hanging in the air. It definitely leads into a room of the station below. I would fit through that hole, but the gap in the scrap is too tight. I need to move it more. Okay, I'll move it back.
That's no use.
It's a bit looser than before, and the bolt is sticking out even further. Damn it, it won't work. There has to be a way to get it off.
That's no use.
It's possible to cut a bit with this welder, but I won't be able to cut open the pole. No matter how hard I pull, the bolt just won't let go of the pole. It's no use. I'll lean on it and hit it, but I assume it's too light. No matter how hard I hit it, it just keeps hanging onto that bolt in the ground. It's stuck on, rusted through. It won't move an inch. But it's sticking out quite a bit. Damn it, it won't work.
This bolt's interior is made of hardened ceramic. Heat won't help you, Tessa.
Right through here. Come on! The spaces in between are too narrow or too wide to properly tie the strap. That might work. Good, it's tilting to the other side, but I can't get it any further away from the hole. Right through here. The spaces in between are too narrow or too wide to properly tie the strap. Right? The spaces in between are... There has to be some way of moving this junk so we can get into the hole. Even if I attached it here, I couldn't move this. I can wedge it in and pull on it, but it won't budge. I can wedge it in and pull on it. I can't find any part that this would fit. I can't just weld my way through this heap of scrap. I have to move it as one.
It might fit through the lug. Yes! Excellent. Now around here, and over here, and tie it together. That should do it.
Even if I attached it here, I could... Even if I attached it here... If this pile of scrap wasn't here, I'm sure I could climb down this hole. No matter how hard I pull, the bolt just won't let go of the pole.